We trade more than ever before, and we also trade in different ways. Before, a product was usually manufactured in one country. But today, a product is most often made up of components from several different countries. The different countries usually have different regulations and standards, which can cause unnecessary obstacles to international trade. This happens, above all, if the requirements aim to accomplish the same goal, but in different ways. The process of simplifying this is what the EU and the US are trying to accomplish as part of the ongoing trade negotiations, better known as TTIP, Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. The EU and the US have each developed well-functioning and predictable regulatory systems. Regulations are applied by authorities on both sides of the Atlantic to ensure, for instance, consumer safety, the environmental protection, or public health. So there are well-functioning systems in place within each area, and administration and TTIP promotes cooperation in between these well-functioning systems. At the National Board of Trade, we have developed a proposal called TSAS, Transatlantic Standards Approval Scheme. It sheds light on the opportunities made possible by the collaboration that is expected to come out between authorities in favour of the standards developing organisations that develop private voluntary standards. Standards are voluntary developed guidelines that, for example, satisfy demands for quality and compatibility between different technological solutions. Standards are everywhere around us, even if they're not visible for the consumer. Standards have an important role to play in society, but can cause problems when different standards for the same product are incompatible. When that happens, there is a risk that trade barriers appear. The proposal is also meant to support collaboration between European and American standards developing organisations, since products manufactured according to one standard that meets both European and American regulatory requirements can be given simplified market access in both the EU and US. TSAS is a common procedure that supports agreement on standards. A collaboration between the EU and the US could lead to different types of standards. An international standard would mean that American and European standards developing organisations identify mutual benefits of proposing a global solution. Another alternative is a transatlantic standard. It would be efficient when there's no common ground for an international standard. It could be considered as an intermediate step to coordinate new technologies between the EU and the US. The third alternative is that there is no common standard at all, and as such would reflect the practices applied today. TSAS would improve the possibilities of gathering knowledge and expertise. Not only would it provide the best solutions for trade, but also answer to global challenges such as climate change and the environment. This collaboration would also provide a more effective system, where we can reduce trade barriers caused by unnecessary regulatory diversions. TSAS makes trade on a transatlantic market, with mutually accepted standards possible instead of several different markets with different standards.